a customer that we canceled. Now, keep in mind, they've been a customer just not quite a year yet. Okay, and it's on the fertilization and weed control side. For you guys that offer that service, maybe you can appreciate this, but customer calls in. We did a renovation for them last fall, killed out their existing undesirable species they didn't want, and put in some tall fescue for them. Okay, and everything's going fine and looking good, and blah blah this and blah blah that. And I don't know how you guys handle it, but okay, things were going along good. Think yard came in fine, and all is well. So I'm just curious how many of you guys offer a return trip at no charge, because we don't. We don't do it. I mean, we just, on seeding, there's too many variables out of our control that we just don't offer a return trip on seeding. Grass grows if you water it, and if you put it in dirt, fertilize it, and water it, it's going to grow. I mean, that's just the way it works, So this guy was wanting us to come back out and reseed part of it. And you could clearly see that it was coming in fine. The yard's coming in fine. Even from last fall, came in pretty well. This spring, it's continued to come in. And this guy sends me this email the other day that says, I need you to take a look at all these bald spots in my yard. And I swear to goodness, there's bigger divots. I've taken a bigger divot golfing, as Kyle said. And there's like 3 of them. There's 3 of them. So my resolution is, hey, how about if we just bring you some grass seed out, and you can put some seed on it. But if we run a machine over an area, any type of mechanical seeding, and we run that over that area, it's going to tear up more than it's fixing. And I mean, this guy just had a hard time understanding that. So I just don't get it. It's one of the things that you're never going to change it, but I just don't get it. People, I think it goes back to the 95-5 rule, where 5% of your customers are 95% of your problem. And although you hate to lose a client in any given situation, sometimes it's just better off that they move along and create havoc for somebody else, because literally when you got 3 areas, or he sent me 3 pictures of an area that's 2 inches wide and about 4 or 5 inches long. And who knows why it didn't come in? Maybe there was a gap in the machine, right? I mean, we cut them in 2 different directions. So when we run a slit seeder through it, or a power seeder, we go over them one direction and go over them in another direction, so you don't have that, and it helps, fill that rowing effect in. Plus, we broadcast seed over the top. So we know there was seed there. Why with those few particular areas? So I thought we were being nice enough just to offer the guy some free seed, and make that trip. Hey, man, we'll be happy to give you some seed, but, we're going to tear up more than we're going to fix by running a seeder over it. So I don't know. He just didn't get it, and I guess in his mind, he's saying the same thing. We didn't get it. We didn't understand it. So that brings us to the point of customer service. I want to talk a little bit about customer service. And at what point do your decisions come into play of being the bad guy, to Katie's point that texted us earlier? What's the perceived right thing to do? Hey, well, Wayne, you're making a big deal out of Jesus Christ. Just go out there and seed it and call it a day. But okay, I get that side of it. But I also see the side of it when you got a 2-inch spot, literally 4 inches long, man. Why are you sending me an email that your house is on fire? Because that's not the fact either. It's not, look at all these bald spots in my yard and how bad of a job that we got. You know, I mean, you bought grass seed, man. You didn't buy sod. So I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way with that cancellation. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I guess good riddance. That was the beginning of a relationship that wasn't meant to be, I guess. But I've just learned in working with people for a lot of the years that when they've got that kind of perception initially, you know, it's not a long, you know, you're probably not going to have a long-term client anyway. So as much as we hate to see the customer go, you know, over something as menial as 3 small areas like that, and we offered to bring the seed, hell, we give them free seed, man, but we're not going to renovate. We're not going to power seed the yard again over something like that. And that's what the guy wanted. That's what he wanted. So at what point does customer service, where's the cutoff line, I guess, is the question. Where's the cutoff line on customer service? For me, it's in most situations, I'm not going to say all, but for 99% of the time, I think the cutoff on the situation is when it not necessarily doesn't make sense, because sometimes it's easy for it not to make sense and you just do it anyway because that's what the customer wants. But if it doesn't make sense and it's going to cost us money, that's when it doesn't make sense, you know. And that, to me, then you got to look at, okay, what's the average lifespan of your customer? What is your customer acquisition cost? And I mean, we're not getting into all that today, but, you know, when somebody's bringing up something like this and, you know, they're wanting to cross that line right now and they've only demonstrated their ability to be a customer for a few months so far, I just don't think it's I don't think it's our responsibility to go power seed the entire front yard again when we've literally got 3 pitchers that collectively don't add up to a square foot of turf. But I don't know why the guys want the machine run through the yard again. So you guys run into it too. You got to. So I appreciate y'all letting me vent on that. And you say, my God, Wayne, what does that have to do with helping me run my business? And I think it's got a lot to do with it. That don't be a slow learner. Don't be a slow learner. Don't give away your profit margin, because, you know, some people backflips just aren't enough. You know, that's the reality of it. And I've said that for many years now, that, you know, backflips on their front porch sometimes not enough. They say jump, and we say how high, and how about if I do it backwards for you? You know, so there's a fine line between what's customer service and what makes long-term loyalty and business sense too. And there's a fine line there that only you know what that line's going to be for you and your company, and I know what it's going to be for me and my company. But don't let that customer always, in that tug of war, always pull you over the line. Because once they pull you over the line the first time, they're going to expect to pull you over the line the next time. So, you know, it's, I appreciate y'all's text on this too, man. Absolutely, yeah. It's to Craig's point. It says, sounds like somebody's just wanting something for free. You know, no matter what you do, it's not going to be right. You know, that's just it. I agree with that 100%. So, but on the other side of customer service, as a comparison, last night I walked into a CVS drugstore. For you guys, most people are familiar with those, but if not, it's just a drugstore. And I went to pick up a couple things, and I walked up to the counter to pay, and there's a young lady behind the counter working the cash register, and there's 2 other employees. Based on the discussion that I heard while I was there picking up what I was getting, which was close to the counter, one of them was probably the manager and another employee. So we got a manager, an employee, and another employee running the cash register. When I walked up with my 2 items, none of them acknowledged that I was there. Not the first one. So the girl working and I was okay with it, I guess, you know, with the 2 that were not behind the counter, that was not running the cash register. But the girl that was running the cash register, and I'm not saying because she was female or male, let's just say the person running the cash register. I set my items down. She never looked up. She never made eye contact with me. She continued a conversation, and it wasn't a business conversation. It was, how was your day going kind of conversation. She's having this kind of conversation going on and with it. And the reality of it is, I finally said, as she's ringing me up, and this was a little bit sarcastic, I said, well, by the way, how are you doing? And you know what? She just looked up and nodded her head like, yes, whatever yes is, the how you doing? And that was the only response I got out of her. And the other two just scattered like roaches when you turn the lights on. I had a problem with that. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to blow them up on social media. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do all that, But I just had a problem with that. But that brings me to this next question, though, for you. When it comes to customer service, what do you do when you see your clients? How do you handle it? What's your next move? Do you say, oh, God, there she is? Or, oh, God, there he is? I mean, what's the move you make? That's what we need to figure out. What move are you going to make when you see your customers? You going to pretend that you don't see them? Or are you going to do something else?